Pillars of Gold LE.
Oh yes, and we're already there because in the bottom left, he's still teamless. What the heck? Representing Germany, the blue Zerg player, it's Lambo.
And in the top right-hand side, his Ukrainian counterpart, another Zerg player known for his wacky play. From Raise Your Edge Gaming, we've got our red Zerg player. It's Bly.
Creighton, I'm going to follow your camera.
Oh, man, you gotta make me do something here today, don't you,
yeah.
Grant? Now that I'm not producing the stream anymore, you're like, you know what? This Creighton kid, he better actually do something to earn his pay. I've been sitting back. I don't know if you do the same thing, Grant, but when you're doing production and the camera, I just sit
like,
back in my chair.
Watch the game. It's so good.
It's great. I was on the Pylon show yesterday with Artosis, and I teased him a little bit. I don't know if you saw his tournament he did, where he was observing. It's very clear that he has not observed a game since like 2010. He was using the standard interface.
Oh no!
It was hilarious. Like clearly he had not, and he explained. We ribbed him about it on the Pylon show, and he said, "Come on, guys, that's not my job. You know, I'm not even in the game when I'm casting GSL. No. We just have the game on a screen, and an observer's doing everything for us. And you know, we weren't teasing him like he doesn't have any skills or anything. He's obviously the best fucking caster in the world.
Yeah.
It was just really funny to see the amount of skills you have to do what we're doing here. It's just a wide net, isn't it?
And as this game starts off with patch gas pool across the board, Creighton, why don't we have a little bet here? Not about this matchup because we don't bet on esports, but because we do both have mainstream dates coming up. Who is going to be the first to drop an F-bomb on the mainstream?
It's going to be you.
It's going to be... I did it literally like 15 seconds into yesterday's first cast.
100% it's going to be
100%. I am wrecking it because it's just... I'm English, man. Like, that's how we greet each other.
I was going to say, plus you talk like a Bristol dock worker anyway, so... Like,
yeah.
it's in your blood. As I understand, the Scots, which I know aren't English, but as part of the whole United Kingdom, the Scots have what most people would say is a fairly offensive curse word as a friendly greeting.
Yeah. So, I mean, me too.
That's what I figured. We see the first big changes here. I'm putting my money on you, that's for sure. We see the first big changes in these builds, though, as Lambo goes for the speed, but Bly, in classic Bly move, doing something weird. Skipping that Ling speed altogether, and instead going straight for an early +1. What does that mean, Grant?
Bly is most likely looking for an all-in here. I imagine we'll see a Baneling nest go up in not too much longer, and Bly is going to be making a whole bunch of units, +1 more hit, and he will go. Lambo has actually played relatively greedy. Okay, he gets his Baneling nest right now. His speed is almost done, but his drone count is going to be moving up into the mid-30s. Bly is probably going to stop at the early 30s point. Still no Baneling nest. This may just be a Ling flood here from Bly. I do anticipate we'll see Banelings eventually. I think it's very difficult to play against Banelings without Banelings. Oh my god, what?
I was just about to say there's a really wacky build you can do that was very popular. It was one of the builds that Scarlet won a GSL game. I can't remember who she upset, but she wasn't supposed to win it, but she, in no regret, cooked up this build. I'm not sure if it's this exact build, but it was something like this, where you open with +1 melee, get the Roach Warren down, get +1 missile attack as well, and then you've got like this really, really powerful, surprisingly powerful Ling Roach army. So even though you skip the Baneling nest, your opponent doesn't make a lot of Banelings because they're like, well, I don't see any early Ling aggression, maybe 1 or 2 Banelings on this side, and then you poke in with Roaches, with Lings, and you have such a high damage army that you're just able to overwhelm your opponent, and I think that's what Bly's going for here. Lambo's got to know something's up, though. There's still no third base down for Bly.
Yeah, Lambo has been making Banelings. Okay, and he's now made a round of Lings as well, but he just made 4 drones. That's 8 Lings he really needs that he's not going to have. Roach Warren is about 3/4 of the way done, but I very much imagine Lambo has very little lava, and if Bly can micro around the Banelings here, he's going to be able to at least get the 3rd. But Bly needs to micro! Oh, this is scrappy. Okay, it looks like Lambo's actually done a pretty good job, but +1 has finished for Bly, and that means these trades will look very, very heavily favored towards the red player. Bly behind this, droning, getting +1 armor. He has the Roach Warren, but no Roaches. I think Lambo just held very well.
You know, he did. I'm not really sure what Bly thinks he's doing. An initial medium-sized swell of Lings, I guess. He's behind in army supply. He hasn't made like a big swell of Roaches or Ravagers or anything like that. Bly with 100 possible supply right now, significantly over making Overlords.
A laser lords.
Initially, initially I thought that maybe Bly had some really tight, cool timing. He was going to do some unusual strategies, going to dig out from the annals of StarCraft history. But right now, I think he may have just been stymied by this defense from Lambo, and I'm a bit concerned that he's just playing an inefficient build right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at the worker counts right now. Lambo is up 16, 18 workers.
There you go.
He's already producing Roaches. I think Lambo's in a very good spot. Look at the supply does not lie in these scenarios, in these mirror matchups. Bly's going for it. He knows he needs to make something happen. Lambo, very smart. 2 Spine Crawlers. He's making Banelings. Upgrades are going to favor Bly here. And they're not for a while. His +1 armor not yet done, meaning Bly's timing is really wacky. It should be done by the time all the Roaches arrive at their destination.
But they're not arriving, Grant. Look at him in the middle. They're going back home. Bly grabbing a third base now. He's still making Overlords. What the hell is Bly doing?
72 out of 124. Bly has no lava, so he can't just produce a load of Roaches. He's getting a Spire.
Grant, I don't know what the local liquor is in Ukraine. If he was Russian, I'd say it's vodka. If he was German, I'd say it's a nice ale. If he was British, I'd say it's what's that blue stuff, Wicked, that comes in the
WKD. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that stuff.
Talking.
But I don't know what the local Ukrainian liquor is. But I wonder if Bly had a shot or two before he started. And again, I'm not a Zerg versus Zerg expert. It's one of my weakest matchups to analyze, but I can tell you just from a layperson's point of view, if you're at 140 available supply, you've made a serious macro mistake in a professional StarCraft game.
Yeah, if you're going for a big Roach swell, then of course it makes sense. Lambo is getting a Hydra Den as well. He's going to be very prepared for what is to come. I think he's anticipated, okay. Yeah, seeing double gases immediately on the third, it's pretty indicative of Mutas. Your opponent is going to be looking for a lot of gas. Bly's going to be able to make 5 Mutas straight away, maybe 6 or 7. 6 probably, it looks like. But we should see Spores going down very, very shortly here. For Lambo, who I still believe is in a great position. He sees everything now as well with the Overseer. No Spores, which I'm concerned by. 7 Mutas are on the way and +1 air weapons. We see the upgrade coming in for Hydralisk Speed, as well as +2 armor here for Lambo. Lambo's up nearly 50 supply. We can't, go over this enough. Lambo's in a very great position, but there's always a possibility Bly can catch him out. Bly double expanding here, that's very nice. It has been seen. But Lambo's sitting back a lot. I think he's still a little bit worried about what is to come.
A little bit of a mistake there from Lambo, seeing that Spire earlier, and maybe he thought it was just a joke Spire or a fake-out Spire. He didn't build any Spore Crawlers until just now. So a little bit late on the Spores, and if Bly had sent those Mutalisks straight across, they might have been able to get some damage done, but wow, Lambo getting a Spore in the natural now, still nothing in the third. There it is, finally goes down in the third. A little bit late, he will be able to defend this, but the Hydras are already out, and Bly throwing away a couple of Mutas here in the middle of the map. What on earth is happening, Grant? This is not the Bly that I know and love. No,
this is Bly's first game of the day. He played yesterday, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
He won a 2-1 victory yesterday over Arctur. So pretty easy start for Bly, but just because you're playing against a more difficult player is no excuse for playing such a sloppy game of StarCraft.
We cast that, right?
We did, yeah.
We did?
Yeah, no, we did Drogo and King Cobra. You're right.
That makes sense. So yeah, Bly having a pretty shaky start in this, and Lambo's army right now is just huge. 118 supply to 80. Bly now supply blocked as well. Nice counter-attack here from Bly. I mean, he's able to get into the natural and the main as well. We're getting into a bit of a base race now, but Lambo's army is huge. And with Lambo's reinforcements, he already has 5 Roaches and 10 Hydras on the way. He's going to be able to do a pretty good job of holding this back. Bly is making nothing but Mutalisks, and they're going to pop out immediately into the faces of these grooved-spined boys. And these are very well upgraded Hydras too. We're looking at +2 armor, +1 weapons, +2 about 30-40 seconds off. And I just think Lambo's too far ahead in this game one.
I mean, look at the drone loss count. 36, 30, 40, 42, 44, 45. I can't count fast enough. The only 10 of Lambo. Bly Tippity taps out there. GG as Lambo grabs game number 1. You know, if Innovation were playing that game, Grant, I feel like there'd be a question mark on the screen before the GG was typed.
I wish he was. I love a good Innovation question mark. No, it's not a great start here. For Bly in this game. He tried, I mean, his build was very, very focused on getting that big +1 Ling attack, but he just couldn't handle Banelings. He was splitting like 4 Lings to fight a Baneling. And when you're only 10 Lings up, that's just not going to work. Like, So Lambo takes a good game 1, and this is good for Lambo, one of the favourites to get out the group. But a player that can always drop a series. I feel like Lambo he's not quite on the same level as, like, you know, Clem, Showtime, Hero Marine. He's just one level below. And I really want to see him climb up into that top European Zerg spot again. And beating Bly, starting off with a map is good, man.
And this is a tough place for Lambo, rather. We can talk about what Lambo's been up to. Of course, we're back to Group A now, guys. So these players already played a series yesterday. Lambo, of course, facing up against Raynor in a very tough ZVZ to open things up. He did drop that one 0-2. So interestingly enough, Lambo is at the bottom of his group right now, tied with King Cobra, a Russian Protoss player who I think it's fair to say none of us have ever heard of before. So it's very weird to see Lambo in that last place, and obviously needs the 2-0 win today to put himself back on even keel, on par with the rest of these players. For those of you not familiar with the format, Grant, do you just want to tell people how this group stage really works? There might be folks who aren't familiar with what exactly these players are fighting for.
Yeah, so we have 4 groups of 8 players for a total of 32 players. Each player plays every player once, so you play 7 matches. Typically, you need to go through, in order to advance, which the top 4 do, you need to go 4 and 3. The players in first and second advance, I believe, directly to the semi-finals.
Winners round 1.
Winners round 1, yeah.
Right.
Whereas the losers, the bottom, the player coming third and fourth, do not go into the winners round. They go into the losers round. You also receive money, and I'm not sure how much it is this season, for every series win.
Every series win is $125.
Just cool.
Yeah, so that's every one of these basically is a best of 3 $125 show match, which DreamHack is not being stingy with their prize pool. What a great sponsor for StarCraft, and what an amazing organization.
84,000. Is it dollars or euros? Dollars, right?
USD, yeah.
USD. So a huge amount of money on the line. Also, the player, I believe the top 2, will go into the season finals once again. Previously
Top
won
4.
by Cyril. Top 4 will go into the season finals once again, which Cyril won last time, which is another $54,000. It's huge amounts of money, and it's only been 6 weeks.
It's only been 6 weeks. There's a lot on the line here, and not just because you want to get to the end, but as we said, every single map, every single match mattering immensely, and these players are going to be fighting tooth and nail for every single win. Let's introduce our 2 players here on Ice and Chrome LE for Game 2. Spawning in the top right-hand side here of Ice and Chrome, it's our blue Ukrainian Zerg player representing Raise Your Edge Gaming with a very head-scratchety sort of game number 1. It's going to be Bly.
Bly. Yes, in the bottom left, still teamless, representing Germany, the red Zerg player, leading the series. It's Lambo.
I like that you introduced him as still teamless, as though in between series he was going to get a deep from a team. After game 1, he was like, hold on for a second, admin, responded to a DM, joined a team instantaneously, and came back with a new logo in game 2. That would be the most epic team pickup ever. After winning game 1, a team's like, you're so good, we need you, and you come back in game 2 with a new team.
If we go to game 3, should I offer him €50 to just be on Team Grant for 1 game? That'd be genius. Actually, he's not getting €50 from me. I'll give him 20.
20 euros.
The economy, man. It's a recession.
I don't think Lambo wakes up for less than. It's like any spy movie where the spy gets a note and he's like, nah, I don't wake up for more than $500,000, and then he gets another ping and it's for $1 million. He's like, all right, I'll get out of bed. That's what I feel like right now. Lambo is like, nah, I'm not.
That's
I'm not
like me with StarCraft, you know. They said, Grant, when you cast DreamHack 4, and I was like, how much? And they were like, $500,000. I'm like, sorry, no, I don't get out of bed for less than $1 million. And then they offered me $1 million.
Right. Go back to Apollo and tell him I want more.
Yeah, I was like, you tell that British bastard. Open his checkbook. Sorry, Apollo, please don't hurt me.
And Apollo, I can see Apollo knocking at your door with a wooden baseball bat, like,
Oh,
oi,
fucking
oi.
eye.
Another Baneling opener here for Lambo as Bly goes for a third base also. Again, Bly skipping that Baneling nest. What is up with Bly skipping that Baneling nest? In ZVZ, Banelings are so important. We actually talked about it a little bit last night on the Pylon show, trying to imagine a ZVZ world where Banelings didn't one-shot a Zergling. Like, that's how integral Banelings are to every Zergling build. Artosis was even arguing yesterday that the entire game of StarCraft is basically built around the Baneling.
I
because
agree.
It's by far the strongest unit. And it's surprising to see Bly not making it. Lambo not making it up to the main base here, but should be a bit weirded out that there's no Baneling nest down.
Yes.
Bly skipping straight to Roaches.
Yep. So, yeah, I completely agree. The Baneling used in every matchup. The game has to be dealt around the big explosion AoE unit. We can see, Bly has decided to go straight to Roaches. He does want to skip the Ling Bane phase. In order to do this, he does have to make quite a lot of Lings to not just die. He is looking for the possibility of a run by here, but he's definitely not going to get it. Lambo set up very nice with Banelings and Lings and Queens of his own. Maybe I'd pick up a Queen here. That would be very, very nice. Doesn't look like that will happen. Nice control from Lambo. Taking some pretty nice trades. Bly even, sorry. Taking some nice trades, and Bly actually managing to get in. Does eventually get cleaned off here. But sees no gases on the natural, and knows there's no very quick muter.
Yeah, that's not the best run by ever for Bly, but he did get a decent scout off. Saw those two gases finish, or didn't see those two gases that have just gotten started on the natural. Did see the Roach Warren, but doesn't really know what the tech path is going to be. Both players being a bit sneaky with their tech, and there we go. He does get in. Bly's Ling will get in. He'll see both those gases now have been taken, or at least one, so he can suspect that you take both at the same time. And I think I think that's a decent run by for Bly. Army supplies fairly even, worker count fairly even, but there's a huge swell of drones coming out from Lambo, who again wants to get out of this position by winning on economy, whereas Bly is the other way, make it 18 Lings, trying to get out of here on the back of his army.
Yeah, and Bly's army is actually still not massively ahead of that of Lambo. And Lambo seems to have found a bit of a position here. Roaches are going to pop out, but there's not that many. Lambo, very nice. He's doing great saving these units here. He knew he couldn't commit too long. Lambo's up 16 workers as it resets a little bit as he throws on a couple of gases. And now producing nothing but roaches. So Lambo's hit that economy mark. He's at 60 drones, where he can now just go roach. Like, he just presses ZR, SR even. And that's going to be pretty useful here for Lambo. I feel like, Bly is going into that Spire play. This was good for Bly. He killed a few workers there, 5. That's nice, resetting that advantage that Lambo had built up. Lambo handled the muter so well in game 1. He was a further ahead, but Lambo's still in a good spot. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking that these muters have the possibility of just instantly ending the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting position. I feel like we're both at a bit of a loss for words, which is bad because it's our literal job to not be at a loss for words. But we've seen so many ZVZ games that go down at predictable, familiar grooves, these tech paths that we see time and time again that we sort of know what they're going to do. We can give a bit of an overview. Nice cancel, by the way, by Bly there. A very low investment to cancel off that 4th base to put him, or at least stop Lambo from getting way ahead. But this game and the previous game not going down those familiar grooves that we as casters and most viewers are used to. Not traditional openers, not traditional mid games. Bly just takes very odd timings. But small victories here and there for our Ukrainian players. He does cancel that 4th base for a 2nd time.
Yeah, twice in a row he gets a very quick cancel on the 4th and even kills the drone this time. That's bought him a lot of time. You can see that his 4th is already about a third of the way done. So Bly going to be able to pull ahead just in that very small regard. Supplies are still pretty close. We see 10 muters on the way. There's already Hydra's production. You can see 5 spores currently being built as well from Lambo. So Lambo very prepared. He knows what Bly is going to do in these games. It feels like he's got his finger on the pulse of Bly's strategies, and that is half of beating Bly, right? If you can figure out what Bly's going to do, then things are looking pretty good for you, because the kid can do anything.
Exactly. As we talked about a little bit yesterday, Bly's football card, the back of him is, he's got good mechanics, good micro, good map awareness, and then creativity is just off the charts.
It's
He's one of those
literally
players you've got to keep a pulse on all the time. That's right. And Lambo, of course, has faced Bly time and time again. These guys, if not rivals, certainly playing each other on the Euro ladder, game after game after game. And the spore's already down from Lambo, who's learned from last game where he built spores a little bit too late and did eat a bit of damage from those Mutalisks. Yeah. Learned this game, the Hydra's down early, and as +1 finishes up, Lambo's going to find himself in a really nice spot. Bly trying, though, to double expand. Look at this. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not massively offended by this, going for that quicker base. Bly knows he's been able to slow down his opponent, and he has control right now. There's only one Overlord on Bly's side of the map. There's only one Overlord outside of Lambo's main, or natural, and that is this Overseer up to the north that Croton is so graciously following for me. This is really good for Lambo to get this one in, because he needs to figure out right now what the transition is, if it's a transition. Seeing the Spire... Yeah, these mutas having to escape. This is nice.
Man.
Centrifugal hooks. Nope. He's going to finish up here for Bly, and I think we're going to start seeing Bly move towards an attack pretty soon. He's been producing nothing but units for a while, and this is the weak part of going for Hydras, and that is going into Lurkers. Going into Lurkers takes a long time. You have to build the Lurker Den, then you have to build the Lurkers, and they cost supply, and they cost money. So I like what Lambo's doing. He's flexing himself at the other side of the map. He has so much as well. Like, it's going to be difficult to deal with. These Banelings rolling in. Oh my god, splitting like a Terran, Lambo.
Holy smokes, the Baneling's getting mowed down by these Hydralisks. I thought the Roaches might move forward and try and take out some of the Banelings themselves and soak up the damage, but the Hydra's just splitting them and eating a few hits, but not enough damage. And now Bly down to 60 army supply, trying to morph in more Banelings.
But it doesn't seem to be working out. The Roach is doing a good job of blocking all of these mutas, and now there's so many Hydras left. Some Lings are going to try and get in, but the Mutalist count has been decimated. We've seen a total of 11 Mutalists go down. Bly will finally clean this up, and it was a necessary cleanup, but this is exactly what Lambo needed. He needed enough time that he could finish off his Lurker Den. He's found a lot of damage too, now with a worker lead as well. And if he wants to, he can now get those Lurkers rock and rolling and start looking to be very frustrating for Bly to deal with.
Thanks for covering for me, Grant. I had a sneeze that cropped up out of nowhere, and it was just terrifying that I would leave my microphone on and destroy every headphone user's eardrums. Lambo, though, keeping this pressure on. He's still ahead in workers. He's still ahead in supply. The Mutalisks are actually going to be a little bit more useful right now for Bly, as Lambo doesn't have enough Hydras on the ground. This is something that's really tough to do with Hydras, especially against Mutalisks, is that you have to have a critical mass of Hydralisks, right? 2 Hydralisks, 5 Hydralisks, 6 Hydralisks, not enough. By the way, this 5th base going down.
Wow.
Huge mistake. 5 Roaches killing off the base.
5 Roaches, yeah.
Goodness gracious. But Lambo didn't quite have enough Hydralisks previously, and he was sending them across the map one by one as though they were Marines, and it wasn't as effective. Mutalist able to mow him down. But now that he's lost 2 bases and is down to essentially 3 bases, only about 1.5 of which are mining, maybe 2.5 are barely mining, Lambo, of course, has not yet expanded to a 5th base, and that needs to be his priority now if he wants to stay in this game. He's sitting back defensively, but Lurkers don't do much against Mutalisks, and if he's not able to engage with a 5th base soon, he's going to find himself on the losing end of this income graph.
Yeah, 7 in gas as well, Lambo, please. Thank you. Nothing upsets me as much as that, and it's one of those weird emotional triggers.
I understand.
Lurker instantly comes out and will lift. Oh my god, these mutas are going for it. This is not a good fight, Bly. So many Mutalisks immediately go down. It was 11 last time we checked. Now there has been, but about 15, so 4 more going down in not a long time. Also, 29 workers of Lambo went down. What?
Wow, there was a big Baneling run by that we did not see at that 4th base while the Mutas were engaging in that top base. We were tricked, just like Lambo was, into watching the Mutalisk run by instead of focusing on those Banelings. So that is going to even things up just a little bit for Bly, who's now reworking on his 4th base. That should be down soon. But the income's still going to be in favor of Lambo just a little bit. But the Mutas getting into this main base, man, Bly is actually making this work with this mass Muta. I did not think this was going to be very effective. Lambo usually much better at defending than this.
Yeah, guys, I see my FPS dropping a little bit. I'm not really sure why that is. Again, I have a 2070 Ti. It very much shouldn't be on medium. So I apologise. I don't know what's going on with StarCraft. Both me and Creighton having some issues today. But it seems to be sorting itself out. So Bly continuing to be very frustrating with his Mutalisk. And this is the Bly we love to see. He's really found damage this game now. And actually, he's going to kill so many more workers again. Oh no, the Queen goes down. Sure, there's 2 lurkers there, but you know what lurkers can't do? They can't look up. They're like turtles. And Bly finding so much damage. Bly's up 21 workers right now.
Because look at the units lost tab, Grant. He's killed off something like 50-odd workers the last time I checked, and Lambo has no response. These Mutalisks, this is so rare to see in a ZVZ.
Is he going to get a hive?
He's going to get the hive, there's no question. Lambo is trying to go for the catch. He's trying to sneak by and catch these Mutalisks on the back. He's going to lose the hive. I've just seen Mutalisks take down a hive. Grant, I have seen it. I have seen a diamond ring. I have seen a front porch swing, but I ain't never seen Mutalisks taking down a hive before in my life.
What are you on about? Diamond?
It's from Dumbo. Did you ever see?
I did, but it traumatized me.
Well, it traumatized all of us. That's why I remember it.
And Pinocchio. That film was messed up.
So traumatizing. But there's a song in Dumbo where they make a bunch of old-timey, like 1930s
I've repressed
puns. Okay, you know what? Never mind. One person in chat is gonna get that joke.
Yeah.
That's all I really needed, Grant. The Lurker Den about to finish up I almost said tunneling claws, adaptive talons before it dies, and we need to see another Overlord dropping some creep here or something for Bly, because his tech has been destroyed right now. All these buildings in the main are gonna die eventually. Bly in such a strong position now, unbelievably against all odds.
And it still sits at a more than 20 worker lead. His upgrades massively ahead at now 2-2 to just the 1-1 of his opponent. Hive for Bly is also done. So he will be able to stuff free without too much time. He has, in terms of upgrades, we can see +2 melee, +2 air weapons. So a very offensive glass cannony armor here from Bly. He's killing everything. Lurker Den, get the infestation pit, lad. Why not? No, okay.
Doesn't want to dive too deep. He's seen those Vipers on the north side and doesn't want to engage into parasitic bombs again. Little Ling run by from Bly. Not going to do too much, I don't think.
Nothing here. He's killed all the bases.
There's nothing here to kill. The main's gone. The natural's gone. And while he's doing that, the Mute is engaging in another base here. Nice parasitic bombs from Lambo to try and drive Bly back. But Bly is decent splitting here. Really not bad at all. Going to get it very low on his Mutalisk, but the Mutalisk is mostly still alive, and 11 more drones have gone down. Lambo has really struggled this game. Let's see if this counterattack does anything, Grant.
Yeah, oh my god, look at the Banelings rolling in. Going to try and get in on top of all of these units here. Nice splits once again from Lambo, incredible splits. Lambo all of a sudden at the other side of the map has found an angle, found a position. He has lost his lurkers, but this base is definitely... Lambo, why don't you kill it? Okay, gonna try and catch the Mutalisk instead. It looks like we have a bit of a... Oh, another parasitic bomb. These Mutas solo does manage to disconnect the infected. Finds some social distancing, but this base is in a lot of trouble. There's so many Hydras here. How can Bly ever take this fight into Lambo's army?
How is that not a meme yet, Grant? Social distance like a parasitic bombed Mutalisk in the flock. You gotta get some space from that. But that's the thing. Even though Bly's micro is phenomenal, look at this Mutalisk flock, very low right now, which means that 1 or 2 parasitic bombs, no matter how quickly you split, are gonna go down. However, Lambo is running amok right now on Bly's side of the map. Bly with a bit of Ling counter pressure. You're trying to get the Hydralisk Den, trying to get the drones. But right now, the onus is on Bly to beat this, and Lambo at a huge army supply advantage. All these Hydras coming out of nowhere, and again, unbelievable splits from Lambo.
And there's so many roaches left standing, just killing drones. 23 of Bly's workers have gone down. Supply's still even. Lambo losing a lot of workers himself, but GG.
Yep, GG. Bly calls. Lambo calls it. What happened there in the last series, Grant, and not to talk over you too much, I know you're transitioning, and I don't want to take advantage of the fact that you can't talk on your own stream, but what happened in that last engagement was the splitting from Lambo was really impressive, but he still took a really inefficient fight. While he was splitting with those Hydralisks, the Roaches were in the front getting mowed down by the Mutalisks, and by the time the Hydralisks could split, they weren't in critical mass enough to deal with that. So a really rough game for Bly there, one that he should have won. I don't know if throw is the right word, because Bly is such a tricky player that it's never really a throw against him, but a very difficult loss for Lambo to take. Is he the type of player who gets tilted?
I don't know him well enough to be able to say yes or no. I feel like my heart leaves in the fact that he can get a little bit annoyed, and that was the kind of game that would really annoy me. Even I played a game today, and I was like supply block for ages, didn't make my second pylon, and I was just like, for God's sake, I'm so stupid. Lambo had that game in the bag for a while, it felt like. It's very difficult. I feel like Lambo knows he lost that game because of that one Baneling run by that we missed, right? 25 workers go down. That has to be the big turning point. It's weird, man. For now, we are into the game, Creighton. As I hippity hop to your camera. Would you like to introduce our first player?
I'd be more than happy to. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side in the red. Still teamless, not getting an offer after that last game.
Oh, I forgot.
It's our red Zerg player representing Germany. He is Lambo.
And on the cheesy side of the field, opening up with the earliest pool there ever was. He is the blue Zerg player representing Ukraine and Raise Your Edge Gaming. It's Bly.
Did you ever watch Cosmos with Carl Sagan?
No.
Great, you've ever
I
heard
always
of it?
wanted to.
Oh, it's amazing. The new ones with Neil deGrasse Tyson are also great. But the way you just said the way you said the cheesiest Zerg that ever was, I remember there's a Carl Sagan quote where he's like, the universe is all that is, and all that ever was, and all that will be.
I saw the Neil deGrasse ones. They were incredible. I also watched...
So freaking
I'm going to say the dreaded name. I also watched Neil deGrasse on the podcast. How can I
Star Talk?
No. How can I suddenly forget the dude's name?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, there we go.
He's an interesting guy, a little annoying sometimes, but
that's
very,
all I've
very
watched.
intelligent.
I never ever I always thought, oh, Joe Rogan. But I started watching it recently, and it's all I've watched for like 2 weeks, just constantly. Blight is you can say all in, and then you can say all in. This is like he's so in. He is pitching a tent inside Lambo's house. All of the drones, except I believe 2 or 3, coming across the map right now. The Lings coming out, of course, as well. We're going to be looking at a total of 10 Lings. Lambo's pool just finishing up right now. Lambo hasn't seen this. Bly dodging his way through, but his pool is in a great position to stop the spines going down on the very edge of creep. Bly, you don't want to block yourself in, mate, or out. But now the fight begins. These spines are going down in a very nice place, actually. The spawning pool is going to end up helping out in terms of surface area reduction, and the spine's already 1/3 of the way done. Creighton, how is this looking?
You know, it's a mixed bag so far. That initial splitting from Lambo was really, really good, using those minerals to fan out the workers and make sure they can get maximum surface area. Look at the worker count right now, 14-4. It's weird to think about worker count as being aggressive, but you do want more workers because they do add that little extra bit of DPS, especially comparatively in this push. Only one spine can go down, immediately surrounded by Lambo. Lambo's
not targeting down.
He's wasting time. Oh yeah, targeting down that spawning pool. This is going from bad to worse for Bly, and oof.